towers went down, things spooled up pretty quickly.
We were
like
training
within a matter of days.
We were training with a matter of hours. We were training with a hand-to-hand combat expert. You may know this name, Tony Blower.
Mm-hmm.
And we were upstairs, and I had just actually after the after the neck thing, and then we trained for a while. I had to have a back surgery. So then I had a laminectomy, discectomy, my first back surgery, and then so I was kind of just taking it easy. I was on the edge of recovering, full recovery. Do what you want. So we're up there training upstairs, and a guy comes up the ladder and says, "Hey, a plane ran into the towers." I'm like, that's crazy, right? That's a bummer. All right, keep training.
Yeah, I mean, like, shit like that happens.
Sure.
Sometimes.
Or think a small airplane.
Yeah.
Nobody said a word.
Yeah.
The reporter that said, this is an airplane. Nobody, we all just thought, oh, yeah, probably a sightseeing, small airplane, helicopter, maybe a New York police, whatever. What a bummer. That's crazy. Moments later, of course, he comes back upstairs and says, the second plane has hit the second tower.
Yeah.
We're at war. And so, all right, Tony, get out. Training's over. Everybody, and the whole, we're on fire.
I mean,
fire.
At the time, there weren't a whole lot of specifically counterterrorism designed units. Like now, there's a lot of not a lot, but now there's like a greater attention paid to that sort of thing.
I think you're right. Yeah, sure.
But back then, it was like you guys.
There's a couple
and a couple of others.
Some Navy SEALs, and some of us, and
some agency dudes.
Agency dudes, yeah.
But that was pretty much it then. Now we have like the Marine Corps MEUs are trained in some of this stuff now, right? Just to be an aggressive force so we can infill operators, and there's all kinds of shit that goes on now. But back then, it was interestingly enough, and this is why I don't think we discuss your guys' early operations enough. They're so incredible in how effective they were, despite the fact that it seems like everybody kind of knew that that's what was going to happen, right? Anybody that had good intel on us knew what assets we had to do that. And all of I've made this, the first few years of Afghanistan and Iraq, from the big Army infantry side, were kind of fucked because you didn't have a whole lot of, one, you didn't have any staff NCOs, and two, you didn't have any field grade officers that had been in real combat before, like at any point.
Yeah,
there were a couple from
this is what happens, right? As we cycle through, real combat is what happens.
Yeah. We had some from Grenada, some from Panama, but limited, right? And most of those were either paratroopers, Rangers, or, Tier 1 people. And then Gulf War, but limited, like limited infantry-style combat in that situation. And it didn't look like, if I was planning against the U.S. in that scenario, I feel like it would not be easy to achieve goals, but definitely what pieces are on the board. And that's not always to your advantage when the enemy knows everything you've got going on. So I think the success of Anaconda and some of those other missions was, it doesn't, I mean, some of it's still, we don't talk about it openly as much, so maybe that'll come later on.
I hope some of it will come out. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, but it's like, that 6-month period from October until whatever the fuck, I guess March of 2002 was pretty impressive. Like a lot of really impressive shit happened then. We were managing resources really well, making friends. I mean, we had the Northern Alliance, using those guys. I guess as a student of military history, I'm or maybe it's just because I'm getting old and I want to watch World War II history all the time. I'm just waiting for the real documentaries about some of this shit.
I'd like to see some too. I really would.
Something that really captures the entire thing, because there was a lot of cool shit going on then. A lot of cool shit. And now, we've found out again today, some declassified documents this week have confirmed the fact that the Saudi government was involved in that.
Yeah, I heard that too last week or so. There was some talk about it last week or the week before. Some government official, or whether it was photographed with one of the other cats.
just a guy that was here in America financing these cells, basically, and he was a direct employee of the government. That seems like something that we should care about.
Do we? You want to see my shock face though?
Yeah, right. Oh boy,
It's a whole nother wormhole to go into. Is who the real players are in the Wahhabi type of mindset, the Mujahideen type of mindset, but it's not just the extremists, but there's if you look in the book. This is controversial, right? People MF you all the time about whatever, and I don't care. But if you look to the book, it's formed of subjugation. The particular religion itself, it comes to other countries through subjugation, not through love, my friend, not through love. No. Through subjugation. And
that's been that's so. Whenever there's some authoritarian element, that's always going to happen.
Yep.
And that's how, a lot of these primarily Muslim countries still the arbiter of truth and reality and the conduit to God, whomever you call God, is the state, right? That's how Rome was. That's how England, Spain, a lot of countries over the years have been like that, and it's always pretty much ended up the same. I mean, that's why medieval Europe kept all their people illiterate. So they would have to go to the state or the church to get all their information. And the difference is they're still doing it, like in a pretty big way.
Oh, slavery's rampant.
Yeah.
But it's what I want you to know.
Yeah.
I'll let you know it.
But I mean, you can feel what's happening in America right now with the censorship and the managed consent and all that stuff, the programming that's going on. That is it's an effort towards the same end. Whether you think it's noble or not, the result of that type of behavior is the same, and it is the mental subjugation of the people you're supposed to be taking care of, which I find to be inappropriate. I guess it's
inappropriate. It's a good word.
It's a soft word for that.
I did a contract in Saudi Arabia, and I worked with the Saudi Arabian Royal Guard. Mm-hmm. We delivered animals. We trained animals from Germany. We took animals with us, and me and another guy. I was a subcontractor for a larger company, and it was free, but we had to be with a guy all the time.
Yeah.
It was we couldn't drive anywhere. He had to make us. He couldn't go. We had to go that way. It was Diet Coke and coffee. It was all the entire contract. It was. I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again.
No, not there.
No
shit.
No.
It's not like Jordan or shit, even the UAE. Like, if you're a white person, they don't really care if you're boozing it up and shit. Matter of fact, there's some pretty good bars and restaurants over there. But Saudi Arabia doesn't do that.
They don't play.
Which is interesting because the royal family isn't particularly orthodox. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know much about them, so I can't speak to it. But
well, from the guys I know that have worked with them on the Secret Service side, whenever they travel in massive entourages, they usually will buy out like an entire floor of a hotel so nobody can see what the fuck's going on there.
Yep.
And it is just a free-for-all.
Well, isn't this the same reasoning behind, the dictator, right? The dictates are for you, not for him.
Yeah.
And the socialism is for the people rather, not for the socialist.
Yeah.
So, he makes the rules, and it's the same, just like you said, earlier in the conversation. Once you put the thumb on them, do what I say.
Yeah, it's too bad that we're not still in. And I almost say this jokingly, but it's wars of conquest are pretty much over, I guess, except for whenever Putin gets bored. But King Abdullah in Jordan is a pretty legit dude. And his son's also a pretty legit dude.
He's got the Western wife, right?
Yeah.
Is she American wife?
I think so, yeah. I can't remember her name.
Don't matter.
Raina. That's her. Rainia, something like that. Anyways, they not only do they run a good country, right? Their intelligence service is so fucking good.
Roger,
it's, in my opinion, the best in the Middle East, probably. It's them and Israel are probably fucking neck and neck there, which is interesting. It's too bad that Jordan didn't take over all that stuff instead of the Kingdom of Saud and all this other stuff, because they would have done a much better job. Maybe, right? It's always maybe in intel. You never know. So, how much can you discuss about your level of involvement post towers falling down? Because those are really interesting stories people like, but I don't want to jam you up.
Yeah, no, you're good. So, team member operator, really, that's it, right? So, again, all right, I'll tell you a small story that is of no consequence. Longest air assault rating in the history of military warfare. When you're sitting in the back of the airplane, and I think I got rid of 3 piss bags on the flight. Refuel, heading in towards target. You're nap of the earth flying, right? You're over top of the terrain, and I'm looking outside of the helicopter. And it's now we have white phosphorus. It's a much better night vision, but there it was green. My world was green. I'm looking out there, and I see a gun truck, and the gun truck is shooting at us. And you're like, something just got real. This is real shit here. Yeah. That gun truck is up there, and he's shooting tracers. You can see it.
What was it, a Dishka or some shit?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Probably. I would imagine so. When we got back, our helicopter had holes in it. So that was a pretty cool thing. And you're just like, wow, how about that?
So that's when it got real for you.
It all worked out. I mean, it was certainly something to think about, right? I had a job to do. I was the assistant breacher. And I had a job to do. Once we got out of the helicopter, we moved to the wall. We were going to blow down a wall. And I was told that there were numerous shots impacting the wall. But I'll be honest with you, I never saw those. I was focused on one thing, helping my man put this giant charge up on the wall so we could get through the wall.
Yeah.
That was all I wanted to do. So I was primarily focused on that. My spatial awareness was probably not as high as it should have been, but I was like, we gotta get this right, man. We gotta get this right, because if we can't get in, then you can't get the job done. So that's all I want to do right now. So it was, but it was honestly, the target itself was actually quite lame. It was more like a training target. Nobody was there. They all left. All left. Whether they had underground stuff, tunnels, whatever, they all departed. It was a great hit, though. Then in the end, when you're preparing for exfil, you hear whoosh, whoosh, and the guy said, "What is that?" And I said, "Those are rockets." Yeah. Those are the ones you don't want to be on the other end of.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But my involvement, I mean, just evolution of me just throughout the whole entire thing, 12 combat missions, but 10, I say missions, 10 tours. 10 tours with carrying a rifle.
Right.
The other 2 were a liaison type. I finished my last liaison type tour in 2012 when Bin Laden was killed. But mostly in NUG.
In the beginning, right?
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because there were quite a few tier 1 dudes who saw their first combat when it fucking mattered.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's super interesting. That's like a dude getting drafted in his first NBA game. He's a fucking playoff game. You know what I mean?